potential and the pick potential of those three champions, terrifying. And you can see removing mid laners that could survive that. LeBlanc, difficult matchup for the Ahri, but also the Lissandra can just lock that Ahri down, can just escape any potential plays as well. But now, top lane is being banned away. Sion taken off the board. Wouldn't be too surprised to see something like the Kennen taken away as well. And
yes,
there's that Kennen ban.
So now you're looking at what? Ksante being the last sort of stable matchup there. You can go into the Fiora as well, go a bit more fighter skill matchup, particularly if RNG are throwing resources topside. Despite them not having found much success on that so far, could potentially work out for them because they got the Vi and the Ahri, so are able to get up to that side of the map, particularly with, as you're saying, the LeBlanc and Lissandra, two champions which can either trade very hard into the Ahri or lock her in lane very effectively. Something like the Lissandra was used by, it was used by Scout, actually, I believe, in the LNG JDG series to great effect against Knight's Ahri, which is something which, of course, he has a lot of success on. The question is now, Stripe, what have you got left in that mid lane? Sylas is a pretty good answer. You do have the Rakan ult, pretty good steal. You use Ahri's ult better than she does, which is particularly frustrating to play against, let me tell you that. Also, Vial, also pretty good too. So already, mid-jungle 2v2 is where I have my entire eyes on. One kill in a mid-jungle 2v2 right here explodes the rest of the map. And there's already a lot of damage across the board when you look at Jax and Azire on both side lanes too for Rera.
Yeah, love this for Southwind as well. Gives them that hard engage, and it gives the ability to fight for prio down in that bottom side. What AD carry does Gala go for?
Last pick AD carry. How many times do you see last pick AD carry in this kind of meta? Gala, I mean...
Kaisa, it's going to be Kaisa, right?
Played
it's
the
Gala.
Kaisa, is split already. You know, he's played the one game of it, got a pentakill on it. It is one of his very most famous picks, one of his very most effective picks.
Oh, there it is.
Kaisa Rakan versus Xayah Nautilus. Heavy CC, heavy engage, lots of dive potential, and anti-dive potential on the other side. I am really looking forward to how this draft play out. This feels like one kill in mid-jungle explodes to the rest of the map, and with damage pretty much everywhere you choose to look, this is a very snowbally game, should a lead kind of appear.
Yeah, this is going to be a treat for everyone at home. So, for context, if you don't know Gala, first off, have you been living under a rock? Second off, he is the Kaisa player in the LPL over the last couple of years. He has...
And they, right at him, have a bit more of an uphill battle. Level 1 potential. Can jump into the rift. Southwind not going to be able to land that hook, though. We talked about RNG's AD carry, Gala, Kaisa, so important for that player. Really want to talk about Cube's Jax as well, because this guy has been such a force of nature on that pick. Got the Kaisa on one side, that Jax, no slouch in its own though. A lot of LPL top laners made their name on that pick very early into the split. Basically been banned afterwards. Not necessarily something that the rest of the world has continued to prioritize the same level. This guy finally getting this pick back might be his own kind of superstar nature against Gala.
And on that note, right, Cube's Jax, he's only played 3 games of it, like you said, this split, but 100% win rate, which with RA's win-loss record is impressive.
Actually,
9.3 KDA. Like, the man is a monster on the Jax and has a matchup where, realistically, you can kind of chill during the early game. Ksante not going to put that much kill threat onto the Jax unless Cube kind of messes things up a little bit. So, should be a good setup for RA to play through Cube if they want to. And RA typically do like to put at least one gank up to Cube. We were talking about this before the series started. It feels like Cube has a 1 gank quota from RA where they won't ever focus him, they won't ever play towards him necessarily, but either Southwind or Stripe or Leyan will send 1 gank up there in the early game.
Yeah, and I finally got the numbers up as well. 82% ban rate of the Jax versus Rare Atom, and considering it really was the early split where they kind of showed this pick, they've not really been able to play it since. So RNG needs to be very aware of that. They do have the tools to go topside. As we've been saying, the Ahri Vi combo, which you've been seeing kind of rearing his head again, it's going to be the Ahri onto Ahri as well, which is of course very confusing to say with the same pronunciation. But what it does mean is that Sylas doesn't get kind of the ability to take one good trade early game where the Ahri can sometimes mess up and then start to kind of control the wave push. We actually don't see dematerializers on either side. It's too early for them to be impacting top lane though. Leyan does have an early inroad and Cube's got this wave in a great spot.
Look at this play around the vision line. Sneaks on forwards. Breathe could be in trouble if he steps up to try and get any of the CS. Counter-strike in play. Breathe stunned. Should be forced to flash on this one. The Q comes
Red
up
buff
through.
slow.
Both players flashing to block his flash over the wall. That was insane. And
Oh,
the
Ghost
bottom side
pops.
as well. Shenanigans
Ghost-
across the board.
Yeah, that was so unfortunate for Breathe. Breathe not in a position where he can kind of stand safely under his turret. Cube sets up the wave in a really good spot, knows when the ward is timing out from Breathe somehow as well, and they just choke. They close down with that red buff slow. See what's happening in the jungle here. Wait,
He stole
the
it.
steal.
He stole it, just waited in the wings. Leyan trying to do the buff, and wait, I think we'll walk out of this one as Strive moves over. But with Angel having so much HP and mana, there's no way they can contest. Wait, you know, it's a consolation prize after the kill in the top lane.
Yeah, because, you know, we were talking about leads in this game are going to stick. This Jax, yeah, can get shut down a little bit. Good root by Sssum.
Oh my, Ming just about gets away with his life. That felt dicey. Honestly, Ming really overstepping a Strive. A bit of trouble in the mid lane as well. This is a hectic early game.
It is, but this is kind of what you need to see from both these teams. All right, they need to kind of step away from what they did earlier in the split, just kind of wait for those one-item team fights. If they're going to get into playoffs, they need to start things off strong. Put a bit of fear into RNG, make sure that they can get off onto good front foot. Getting some trades in the bot lane and the top lane works out well for them, and Cube on the Jax, can't mention this enough, has been incredibly terrifying to this champion before. An early kill to him, and an early reset where he doesn't have to blow his teleport as well. Could be the start of great things for this team.
It certainly could be. Like having a Sheen for the early lane as Jax is, that's a godsend. For
Yeah, as opposed to a Hysterics or a Munchables or whatever else. Yeah.
Do you know, Ashida hates that joke.
No, I
It's
know,
like
but
the
he's also
first
not
thing
here
I said
today.
to him when I met
He's
him.
not on cast. See, I would never do that while he's on the mic because I know I just get absolute crap for the rest of the cast.
Do you know,
Maybe I'll get the next time on the mic with him.
The first time I ever met a Sheen, which is in like,
Yeah.
I don't know, 2015 or something like that. That was actually how he described how to say his name to me. It was and then, you know, the League of Legends item that built into Triforce. But these days, not as keen on the analogy.
Yeah, that's like my one for this split. Won't say that one again. Let's keep with that up. All jokes aside. Has that lead starting to take over and has the wave in a really good spot. He's been really good at his wave management in these 1v1 matchups. The very start of the split, that was something that he did very, very well. On the other side, though, RNG, bit of a scuffle starting for them.
Look at the root chain onto Ming, Ignite Burn, but Leyan couldn't quite get there in time as Strive tries an all-in the mid lane. There's no mana available for Angel as he's chased down and forced to flash in the end. A close one for Angel. He does live, though.
Yeah, Strive looks at Angel's mana bar and goes, you can't throw your full spells at me, and it's not like you got yourself a huge amount of HP to work with. Gets an opportunistic play, blows the flash from Angel, meaning there won't be as many playmaking tools for RNG's mid lane at the next few minutes. Angel does get to teleport back into mid lane, though sadly not going to be the kill for Strive when the wave was a pretty awkward spot for Angel stuck under Strive's turret. Going back towards bot lane again, though, Southwind looking forward again with his Nautilus. The ability to engage and initiate has been very important for Rare Atom. Try and find plays like this.
Both junglers are here. The pullback in Southwind is gone before the play even begins. RNG with a great little counter gank.
Yeah, so while that, you know, initiation's been kind of important for Rare Atom later into the game, RNG read it like a book. And they get some extra gold onto their bot lane, which has been really where their win conditions have lied. Later into the split, Gala gets himself an assist on his Kaisa. I'm loving where this is going, Joe, because I'm looking at this now like, wow, Cube on the Jax is ahead. Suddenly, Gala's Kaisa's ahead as well. We could be in for some great team fights as this late game goes on.
Yeah, luckily for RA, at least Gala didn't get the actual kill. Just the assist, so it's not the crazy snowball. That said, like, having a support item early on can be valuable. Like, Merc Tread's finished off for Ming, so the route from Southwind, the route from Sssum will last ever so slightly less time as Leyan goes for his red buff here. Now, crucially, Leyan, I think, thought there was no vision in that bot lane play. He'd gone for the sweep, but his sweeper ran out just as he was getting into that bot lane brush, and the ward was fresh, so didn't have information. Away off the back of all of those shenanigans, knows Sssum is recalling, so we'll be able to go for this Chemtech Drake.
Okay, so first Dragon's been in there. We do have Herald starting up as well, but with these resets from bot lane coming through, it doesn't look like either of these bot lanes are looking to kind of lead their AD carry alone in bot side and then kind of rotate a support upwards. Charman's there to help try getting a clean combo onto Angel. W move speed out of that. U pop as well. On the return. See Angel really trying to use this early point of power in the mid lane. with the Ahri, it gives you a much stronger early game. Like, does drop off a little bit mid game when you don't have something like a Spellbook or an Electrocute or even a First Strike to damage. Will that mean RNG have a bit more of a platform to play around Herald? That's going to be quite interesting to see. When these junglers get their first ults the game through, that's when these big topside fights around something like a Herald can get really out of hand really quickly.
Yeah, that said, Leyan not interested in fighting for the Herald. He's hoping to just sneak it away for the time being. And right now, it doesn't feel like RNG have information of that fact. Southwind potentially moving up. And we'll spot this one. I don't think he has time to actually get it himself. Yeah, we'll just time out as he heads back towards the bottom lane. But Leyan, he's got away with this one. 2k on the Herald, and Iron a Smite would do the job. And there we have it.
Yeah.
And the Herald completely free for RA.
Yeah, I'm trying to think why that has gone so uncontested. Leyan, though, is still on top side. Way trying to read the play again. He's been seen 2v2 top.
All outcomes in the Counter-Strike. Stun's not really doing a whole lot, but the Cyclone is there. Breathe! Finishing the job off. Wait, flashes out to safety, and Leyan's in all kinds of trouble. The Cyclone maybe is enough to keep him safe, but the chase down from Breathe, sorry, as Leyan gets a little bit of movement speed here. Angel moving over. Strive really wants to protect him, and Leyan will get out with his life.
Hey, so Leyan takes the Herald, tries to get a very quick drop of it up towards that top side, but is read by Way. Doesn't manage to get towards that play just quickly enough. Take down the Jax, importantly so. Talked about how that champion very, very strong when he gets that lead, particularly in the hands of Cube. So that clean Herald take, not so cleanly played towards top side. RNG tried not to contest that, of course. They didn't try and look for that because they kept their bot lane in that 2v2 down bot side. It feels like they've been more happy to leave Gala and Angel in lanes where they can just kind of get some CS advantages, which is working out for them. This is how, of course, it came across. Big single target lockdown. The Counter-Strike not really getting a huge amount done in that play. Can't really get the big turnaround. If Wukong was there just a second or two earlier, maybe this play works out. As we said, not quite able to get away with it.
Leyan forced to flash as well and does escape, but that's 2 out of 2 now. That Leyan has walked into a lane to try and make a play, and Way is there to counter. Actually, it's technically 2 out of 3 because he did get the gank in top lane earlier on. But, you know, trying to make the play in the bottom lane, Way reads it. Tries to make the play in the top side, Way reads it. Perfect counter ganks coming out from RNG's jungler.
What was the Meatloaf thing? The 2 out of 3 ain't bad, or was it one? I can't remember the exact lyric. There was a song like that by Meatloaf. Pretty sure.
It's something to do with bats and hell, I believe.
No, that's a different one. That's a bat out of hell, and that's a great song. That's the only one he did,
isn't it? As far as I know. He did that, and then he did Fight Club. Those are the 2 things Meatloaf did. And Tenacious D's dad character in
Imagine having your entire life's work. I mean, it's pretty good life's work actually. That's it. You know, actually, most people will never see those kind of heights before. Oh man. Yeah. Gotta go. I was actually chatting with the Sheen recently.
I couldn't think of the name of the Tenacious D song.
That's the song.
Kickapoo.
Yeah. Is that the one with Dio? That's the one with the talking about Dio, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Dio's in it.
Yeah. Gosh. Heck, big names in that one. I was speaking to the Sheen the other day because actually I didn't quite realize how similar our music tastes were because we were very both into classic rock as well. So we were having a heart-to-heart over that. We were streaming the other day. Back to the heart of the matter though. Angel still in this mid lane. He's gone for the Leandries, which makes a lot of sense to get multiple Ahri procs through that burn tick, and that first item might impact this sort of mid lane 2v2.
Once again, Leyan tries to make a play towards the lane, and Way is there to thwart it. Leyan still with that Herald, but only a quarter of the timer remaining. I don't know if he's going to be able to get this down in a significant way.
Might just have to force mid. Yeah, I think you just have to force it mid, right? See how Way wants to respond to this. Having the lockdown in the lane push in bot and mid lane has stopped Leyan getting the ease of access into these lanes. Don't think they're going to be able to stop this charge. Not going to be able to get too high procs. Who's going to get the gold, though? Stride gets none of it. So this is just gold on towards that Wukong. So even with that charge finally coming off, it's not like you can be able to return to that mid lane very easily to get a second Herald in, get a full mid lane kind of takedown or atom. And that gold over to Wukong, you would have much preferred that onto someone else at this point. Despite Wukong being very strong in those team fights, getting one of these laning matchups ahead would have been very helpful for your team to be able to head towards these neutral objectives, a bit more power through lane push.
So Drake coming up in 5 seconds now, Nymaera. And I feel like we're at a fairly even point in the game. It's 1,000 gold lead for RNG. but Mythic's coming online in either side. The Rod of Ages with 0 stacks though doesn't feel equal to a Leandris, but RA confident on this one. Stack it up and trying to burn this Drake as fast as they can.
Yeah, RNG got to choose their angle fairly carefully here, because if they split like they're doing right now, very careful of someone like Southwind landing a key hook. As it stands right now, though, RNG not able to find a pick.
And this solo kill in the picture-in-picture. I don't know if anyone saw that.
I
There was an
completely missed
all-out
that.
from Breathe, and Cube just bopped him on the head with a stick. It didn't seem like there was that much to the all-in, honestly. They were kind of just stood hitting each other, and it was a bit of a DPS race, and Jax wins those. Jax wins those a lot of the time.
Apparently so. I mean, we saw some pretty close Jax versus Ksante 1v1s very early in spring. The matchup has kind of fallen away from the Ksante led of things, though. It did seem like Breathe had the level advantage before heading into the play. Really interesting what's happening there. Sssum has flash and all.
Featherstorm is available,
Doesn't get to use it.
It's gonna be denied. Rakan and Vi, there's nothing you can do. Cyclone comes out from Leyan in a 1v3. He wants Gala and he gets Gala. Leyan make it happen. I think he might have paid with his own life, but then again, he's trying to kill Way. Almost gets the second kill. I can't believe how much he pulled off.
Yeah, that was a pretty ballsy play to go in and say, you know what, I've got the enemy AD carry. Being able to kill Gala, though, means that he doesn't get to stick around for an extra wave, stick around for some turret damage, something like that, lose the wave under turret. Of course, he'll still pick himself up an assist, so it's not like you're denying the hugest amount of gold away, but yeah, now with the plates at mid and a kill down bot, maybe he's putting himself up to be a bit more of a carry. This is why I was a bit surprised at the solo kill, because it was the XP disadvantage for Cube. Is he going to get off these last minions? That would be a huge turnaround in terms of the healing. Continually getting himself the extra kind of healing from the Sundra. All that comes through back on the other side. This is so close, but lethal tempo. Lethal tempo comes in. It's just Jax just DPSing him.
He wasn't even moving. He just autos him to death. Oh dear. I mean, the CC chain from Rakan's quickness with a Vi. There's not much. And then Leyan just goes 1v3.
Yeah, I guess Monkey See, Monkey Bonk on the other side as well. That's it. It's just the power of the bonk. You've got like 2 staff wielders, and they do stuff with them, man. They just do damage. What can I say?
Yeah. Honestly, the bonk factor on this team from RA. You got a Wukong, you got a Jax. And then Southwind's got an anchor to... I mean, that's a bit more of a bonk. That's more than a bonk at that point, but...
That one's sending it to A&E pretty quickly at that point, actually, yeah. You do not mess with those things. They are very, very heavy. Inside, though. See RNG teleporting in to make sure they have a bit of a platform to play around the second Herald. First Herald already went into the mid lane outer turret themselves. One of the things we've seen about Heralds is being able to get 2 of them in a row and chuck them into mid lane. Very important. Chuck them into jungle though. By Leyan.
Yeah, Leyan not doing so hot on just being aware of RNG's vision. I feel like there's a couple of times he's died now this game. In fact, both times he's died this game have been down to RNG having vision that he's not aware of, and RNG punishing extremely heavily.
RNG get themselves the Herald off of that too. No smite to contest, so they are going to split the difference on those Heralds, 1 for 1 both sides. As they're saying, because RA didn't get the biggest value out of that first Herald, they can just kind of have to chuck it into the mid lane turret, take a couple of plates just onto Leyan. The only way that really capitalizes is by getting a second Herald to chuck it again into the mid lane and just break it down with basically 2 very big Herald pushes. They're not going to be able to do that. RNG, now they get the choice to see where they're going to open up the map. No turrets taken across this map so far. Early kind of in that regards. Where are RNG going to prioritize that? RA as it stands using the Hex Gates to head towards this bot side. Angel caught out here, but with a flash and ult.
Okay, here we go. Charm goes wide, and well, the CC chain is more than enough. Strive with a kill off the back of that play. They'll be able to crash the wave of the bottom side as well. As Gala, the Observer's moving over to Gala in a 1v1. Always makes me a little bit nervous, but I don't think anything's going to happen.
Yeah, trying to see if he has the Q upgrade right now. I think he does actually, based off of what's happening in those tool sets there. I always get a little bit confused with the current build because it used to be like dirt plus the components of Mythic. Just to get it to you. Actually with the Caulfield's Warhammer, of course. Just to get himself to that point. Q evolved Kaisa very, very strong at this point. It looks like he is going towards the Navori quick play.
If it wasn't before, he's going to pickaxe now, so he's definitely upgraded that Q.
Yeah, and once you get the 2-item spike on Kaisa, you are in such a strong spike nowadays. Third item gets a little bit weirder for Kaisa. There are a number of different options. We've seen a couple of different evolutions of that build in terms of you can go towards something like Nash's Tooth, if you feel like you want to go towards a bit more AP, you can go towards Blade the Rune King, or you can kind of double down on something like Red, go towards Panther, what have you. Wei also off of vision again. He's one of the jungle pet there. I think they actually could have spotted him through the jungle pet. But RNG looking to make a next big play with that Vi ultimate. That's been where their big plays have come through so far.
I love the way RNG have been playing as well around vision this game, where they have complete vision control. One of the big things that NIP kind of exposed with RNG was quite often they were just sending Wei alone to try and fight for vision control, and NIP would find a pick. But you could see them all moving in as a unit to make those plays happen. Drake started, Breathe moving out of the way so he could TP if needed. I don't think Leyan could get in here. I don't think he should try to get in here. It's Drake taken by RNG. It might look for a fight as well. Forget the TP. Breathe's just going to walk into this one on behind enemy lines, but Sssum very bravely walking first into the brush there.
And then very bravely walks away. Breathe heading back towards this top side. Use that break in the waves to find something towards that mid lane. Try to. Actually going to be at the cost of a tower now. The first tower is going to go down to the favor of Rare Atom, despite the second Herald being in the inventory of RNG. Really interested to see what they're going to do with that Herald at this point. Where is the big power play coming through? Can you find any big opening for that? You've got into a 1-3-1 yourself now. Angel looks like he's going towards the Leandri's Cosmic Drive build from Ahri. Which I'm going to say, I do like it more than Everfrost, but there are still some things which I do get a little bit annoyed about with Ahri builds. Had a big post about it recently where I definitely feel like a couple of pro players a little bit allergic towards building damage on this champion. Feels like you don't have yourself a Dark Seal early. You don't have that ability to kind of like pop off and snowball in the same way that you do with other Ahri builds.
So, Nymaera, since I've got the Ahri expert on cast with me,
what
would you build in this situation? Like, what's the perfect build for Angel this game?
So I actually have to say, Leandri's Cosmic Drive, pretty good, because you're not looking to dive the backline. Diving a Jax when there's a Nautilus, you can just click ult on you. We already saw what happened, right? Nautilus is one of the better Ahri answers. Oh my, it's a Banshees. No, it's not the Cosmic Drive. We got a Banshees belt. Why did you ask me this at this point? I don't mind Leandri's in the cooldown boost, that's fine. I just really like having a Dark Seal just in the back pocket because Ahri does really need to snowball ahead of the game. That can really help you do so, particularly with the cheapness of that item if you do get up towards 10 stacks very early into the game. Get yourself a free book, go to the library, do a bit of help with that one. Besides that though, I think if you do get yourself a Cosmic Drive at some point in this game, it can very help you take some longer team fights. Does feel like with the champions in this game, we're going to have a few of those longer team fights with something like a Wukong and a Jax. Going to wail away at these plays and help you maybe take down the front line a little easier, just kind of getting through that Cosmic passive and rolling through with that. So we'll see what he cooks up later after this point. Has the Banshees now. I guess he's safer, but look, doesn't make me feel any happier.
All I'm saying is, we saw this at the Oscars. Banshees aren't going to win it. The Banshees just are not going to win it. So we'll see if Angel can have better result than 0 and 9. Gala, he's hit that 2-item mark that we mentioned before, and Cube could be caught out, but I don't know. I'm afraid of that, Jax. I'm not sure Cube is ever caught out.
Yeah, we're afraid of the bog factor here at this point. Running into someone like Cube, again, he doesn't really feel that pressured at this point. This is where I'm getting a little bit scared. You know, we know what Cube can do on this champion. Hasn't played that much of it because he hasn't been allowed to play it. He's been winning too many games where he's been allowed to find this champion in the draft. Do you have 2 items onto both already? Carries though, Navori quick blades picked up both the Xayah and the Kaisa. Very importantly so. It's one of the items which really breaks both of these champions because it gives you more Qs for the Kaisa, very importantly on your kill combo. You actually get 2 of them or so in your big dive combos. And for both of them, it allows you to have your very powerful, impactful ultimates beyond cooldown much less of the time. A lot of the way you play around Xayah is blowing that ult and then coming back for a second swing at it. When you have like an extra 30 or so, whatever it is, ability haste, makes it much harder to reach that point.
Yeah. Also, just the Blade Caller for Xayah. Like, Blade Caller is such a massive part of the kit. Absolutely massive all-in from RNG, but they can't actually finish any kills yet. It's Ming to go down. So the combo from Wei and Ming, it all turns around as Strive is the better Vi. Sssum with a kill onto Gala, the route onto Breathe, but he will walk away with his life. But Baron is up and onto the map. And maybe RA have found their window.
Yeah, what were RNG thinking? They try and go for a very heavy dive play into a choke point, get punished for it. RA pounced on the Baron.
Breathe trying to go in, doesn't have that much HP. Yeah, he ain't tanky enough for this. As Wei now chased out by Cube. Oh, the charm from Angel, saving his jungler, but there's no way that Wei can get into the pit. That's the Baron at 22.5 minutes from RA. And RNG off the back of a 2-0 loss to NIP, looking shaky here in game 1.
And on the other side, in the do-or-die moment, Rare Atom cannot afford to lose a single game, never mind a series. And in what seems to be a really huge moment here, they come away with a big Baron play, big opportunity to blow open the map.
This is massive for RA, and a bit questionable for RNG because they were the ones that started that play. That was their play that went so drastically wrong. Drake up, though, in 12 seconds here, Nymaera. And I feel like RNG surely just have to let this go.
I think they have to, right? Because they were the ones that kind of put themselves in the top side of the map. They went for the play on the top side of the map. They have nothing on bot side to really play around. They don't have a wave pushing. They have a little bit of vision, so it's sparing at that. Rare Atom, they're not even going to go towards that Dragon ASAP. They want to blow open the map with the waves as much as they can. Cube on a side lane now is going to be absolutely insufferable with the empowered minions too. Very questioning now what you're going to do about this Jax in terms of who's wave clearing, who are you putting against him. Because someone like Angel doesn't really want to be sat there, particularly if there's someone kind of shadowing that lane. Jax very easily going to blow you up at this point. And going back to the replay now. Yeah, I mean, RNG went for this play. Going into a choke point, against the Nautilus ult, against the Sssum who stood right behind you. This just feels so badly decided. Why are you choosing this terrain? Of course, the follow-on after this point, pretty crazy. Stolen Vial. Can't really exactly flash away from that one. Zonya's a bust if you're going to try and disengage that. And in the bot side, oh, just after we're singing their praises, Drive goes down.
I would have loved to see how that happened, because that's a huge pick for RNG and Southwind. Sean knocked up, should be taken down. Gala doesn't have the damage. There we go, finally getting the play. It's Breathe jumping onto the backside. Featherstorm comes out, but Gala's gone to Cube, who is taking over this fight. Breathe trying to get more, but Sssum saved by Cube. And RNG once again walk away with their 9 tails between their legs.
Oh man, RNG, they just can't find the clean fights. They get one pick onto the Strive somehow while we're in the replay, but at the end of the fight, one of the AD carries hits the floor, the other one doesn't. Gala, Kaisa be damned, has not been able to find a clean team fight. The way that this player has played his champion throughout his career has been, if the fight goes long enough, he finds that moment in time to try and find a way. Those huge plays, as you see the last time, the way you outplay Vi is trying to Zonya's, just keep you in place for the follow-up to come through. Gala and Angel have more than enough damage to force that play down. Now in the 5v4, you don't have the Vial, you don't have the Ariel either, you just used through all of your stacks in that one. Things get really messy after this point. Southwind, yes, goes down at the start of it. That's the Nautilus. You've already thrown out the ultimate by that point, and it allows someone like Cube and like Leyan to get into the backline, start doing damage. That, for me, is where the fight turns around. You've used your cooldowns with the Nautilus. What have you got left with the rest of the team?
I mean, the insane thing there is that that's essentially a 3v5 fight that RA managed to win.
It's the Monk factor, dude. It's the Monk factor.
Manages to win, yeah. Cube absolutely taking over. We talked about his Jax in draft. I didn't expect this level of Jax performance, as here he comes onto Gala once again.
Oh no, you did not just say that.
This time,
no.
Cube just runs into 5.
Why would you say
just as we're singing his praises.
What have you done? This team is on the brink of playoffs elimination, and you choose that moment to breathe. Cube goes down. He has the 3 items, thinks he finds himself the angle, but this time he's on vision, he's spotted out, he's closed down. RNG, very importantly for them, get to shut down that player. Yeah, that's going to spot those 2 recalling in that brush. It's just that they spot him hopping over the wall as well. We're going to choose his way to get back onto his side of the map. He's back over the wall. We are getting to the point where 3rd items are starting to be completed as well now. I haven't checked in on them for a little while. It's going to be the Hurricane, Gala, Nobori. Okay, we'll stop about that. Strive, going on to...
I would assume that Strive could just take this kill without much else happening, but here come the rest of RNG. And with the cavalry coming, Strive decides this is not a play that he wants to keep going for. Leyan really wants that red buff. That was dicey, but with the clone, does actually get away with it. And now Southwind, oh, he finds Gala! Ming abandons his AD carry that flashed away, and Gala wasn't ready for it. And now another bonus kill as Breathe tried to join the play, but it's too little too late. RNG are having an apple crumble.
Oh gosh, this one's really just falling away from them. I guess that is how the apple crumbles. Probably said about cookies instead, but still, RNG not feeling too sweet about this one. Another hook lands.
Ming with a quickness on everyone, but the Feather Storm is there, so Sssum just chilling in this fight. Blade Caller still available. That'll be a lot of damage onto Wei, but doesn't even need it, as they'll just chase him down through the jungle. Leyan, the one to finish the job. And they're back towards the mid lane, back towards the inhibitor. As Strive zoning Angel away, looking for a solo kill, but the E slightly wide. It's not gonna matter though. Mid inhib taken, and RA looking fantastic.
They are an RNG now staring down, sizable gold lead, the map falling away from them. They have no vision on the other side of the map. They're not winning side lanes, and they're not winning away from their vision as well. So RNG, what are you going to do? Dragon's up in a minute. They're not going to be able to like find themselves huge purchase on the map before that one spawns. RA's resets come through. They're spending all of their gold. They're setting up for the next chapter of this game. This game could have been the very end of their playoffs run. Still very much could be, actually. But as it stands, we're at them, setting themselves up for success.
Yeah, both teams across the course of this game have shown mistakes. They've shown weakness. Neither team has been playing this perfectly, as Leyan tries to find Ming there, fighting for control of the area. Wei inching closer to the Baron pit, wants to get some vision in there if he can. Will spot Leyan hiding in the brush. Southwind and Cube alongside him. This kind of dive combo from RA, ready to pounce.
Are they going for it? There we go.
It's RNG pouncing instead, and he's gone. Leyan just too far forward. The team not ready to jump in with him. I'm not entirely sure what he was thinking, sticking around for that long as the team backs away. And well, RNG, they find yet another pick. And like we said, neither team played perfectly here.
Yeah, importantly so, because, I mean, the last time that this happened as well, Rare Adam, they used the death of one of their players to kind of just say, at least the cooldowns are gone. Again, you see they're fishing in the 4v5. They know the vial's not there. They're going...
Sssum low on HP, but Cube jumping towards Angel. Ming trying to protect his middle
Gala's alive.
There's Death Ball from RNG, and alright, they can't push into it.
Gosh, that got so close. It felt like one of those fights where Gala could finally find some purchase in this game. Couldn't do so. We are in for somehow, despite, you know, when we're at him after that last play, pushing towards the enemy inhibitor turrets, pushing towards that Nexus. We thought that was it. Maybe that would be the play which determines the game. We're going to get a split map now. Dragon taken. RNG going to burst down the Baron. I don't think RA are going to get here in time.
RA, they've traded a Hextech Drake. Can they get the Drake? I don't think so. Leyan, oh, he's going to Hextech Smite! Oh, he doesn't get it. So close, but he couldn't quite find it. Cube now moving in. They need the fight. RA have to take this fight. Cube on the front line. He's low on HP, though. Needs to survive. Needs to find these kills. Gala locked up on the backside. When he jumps into the brush, he's cutting them out. Half HP on either of them, but RA seem to be winning as Gala goes down. It's complete chaos. RA with one extra kill.
RA with one extra kill, but RNG do walk away with 2 Barons. They have a couple of buffs left, which might help them in the coming minutes to try and stabilize, get a wave push somewhere on the map. Maybe Angel can start pushing out a side lane and give them something to play around into the enemy jungle. As you can see right now, RNG, they managed to claim some vision in the river because of this play. This play gets super, super close though again. The real big moments are, of course, Southwind managing to kind of get through to a second round of cooldowns, another hook kind of coming through. And Leyan, though, getting off the vision. Felt like actually RNG could once again play around Gala, finally getting damage in for one of the first times in this game. Jungler from Leyan, despite going down the play just before this one, it's away with them playing that team fight.
We come back and there's already action on our screens as Sssum forced to flash away. He used his Gale Force in the previous engage as well. Gala with almost 6,000 damage in the previous fight. That is eye-watering. We talked about his Gala. He's an absolute machine on the pick when it comes to these team fights. And 4 items now for both AD carries.
Yeah, and that's Lord Dom's regards for both of them. As we've seen, it's been less about the AD carries diving into the back line. It's been more of them trying to kill the front line, diving onto them. And having those Lord Doms extra kind of % HP shred very much helps. Going to the replay here. See how close it was between these two. That was a flash mind game. Wave walks away with his. Sssum does not. So, no flashes on either AD carry now. Will that be the difference maker in what could be a do or die experience for Rare Atom?
Both ults available. Ksante pushing a wave up in the mid lane. Inhib still down for another 45 seconds. But RNG will back away, and now you see the transition towards that bottom side from RA. They're desperate to keep pressure on the map. Next Drake spawning in 2.5 minutes, and that would be their soul if they can take it. I just want to quickly mention as well, Baron for RNG, currently negative 400 gold on the power play. That says a lot about how the last couple of minutes have gone. Oh, no, Southwind caught a recall. He's got a Zhonya's, turns golden, but I mean, it's not going to buy him anything.
That is pretty important because when your support dies, you end up not having vision for the next couple of minutes. Sssum still doesn't have flash, has his ult.
There's that flash that we're held onto from the previous play. Featherstorm still available. Feathers come back in. Oh my days! Wales just one shot. It's not enough though. The TP's coming on in. The CC chain. Cuba looking like a square at this point as Angel wants the charm. Won't go for more.
I mean, is this cubism or is this absurdism? Because that TP could have just cost Rare Atoms their last slim hope of playoffs. This is a double down loss from Rare Atom. They lose their AD carry. Cube comes in and dies as well. RNG, they're grouping up for what could be a game-ending push.
This could be disaster for RA, the Charmlands, as Leyan tries to escape, walking away just about as HP. The clone saves him. RA against the ropes here. And remember, a single game loss in this series. That's playoffs done for RA. They need every single game win remaining for them. But RNG won't overpush it.
That charm, if that had led to a kill, that could have been the game right there. I think Rare Atom, they have to walk away feeling very lucky that the game didn't just end at that point. Sssum caught out. This is, of course, after Southwind goes down a little earlier. It was like Rare Atom, they knew they were on the defensive, but they just get desperate. They're snatching at this play, just trying to come in for something. The feather pullback gives you a bit of hope, because the damage is absolutely huge. Nabori quick blade decreases your ability damage, has crit damage, increases your E damage even more at that point. But this teleport is just so misplaced, so mistimed. Cube on his champion he's found so much success with in this split. It's been banned away from him so much. A bit of a stinker there.
So, talk to me. Final fight could be coming up in 20 seconds. What are we looking for RA for them to win?
It has to be about Gala dying early.
Leyan caught on a charm. There's not even going to be a proper team fight as RNG put RA into the meat grinder. The feathers come back, but Sssum forced out of by Gala, still free firing. It might just be over for RA as they're chased through the jungle. 3 down already. And Cube, he's been such an important member of RA, not just this game, but this split. Can he do the heroics required? 1 down, but they're all out, knocking him up and taking him down. Strive to fall next as Breathe, churning through the health bars. And RNG, they might just have done it.
RA split apart at the seams like an atom in a reactor. This one's going to explode in their faces, and with it goes their playoffs hopes, their playoffs dreams. They needed to win every single game, and they're not going to be able to do that at the first time of asking in this home stretch.
Column, a large hadron, because that was a collision and a half right there. But RNG taking it pushes RA out of playoffs contention, and it puts RNG 1 single game win away from qualifying themselves after a turbulent split, to say the very least. A turbulent game, honestly. It's game number 1 in this series, but RNG, they do manage to put a pin in it. They do manage to find those picks. It goes back to what we started off saying, this composition, when you find those picks, it's terrifying.
So, and now, just like a noble gas, Rare Atom's hopes are gone. They will not be in playoffs. We will say goodbye to them. I was holding on. I felt like this was not the time to do it because it meant so much, but just the door's open at this point, and the door's shut for them by RNG. It felt like, though, I'm not going to lie, it felt like, as I pick my camera, it feels like they lost that game themselves at a certain point. It felt like they were really in place to win that game. It felt like they had the side lane advantages. They had Cube on his Jax. They had a load of items being built up across the board. Leyan was getting kills onto the backline. And then the macro just fell away from them. It felt like their resets were lazy. It felt like they were getting a little bit desperate, snatching and grabbing it, trying to finish off some of these plays. And one misstep too many cost them their last shot in spring 2023.
Yeah, it did feel panicked, right? It felt like, I mean, you could see the pressure of this series in the way that RA were playing towards the later stages of the game, just grouping up, trying to walk in. And I mean, great charms, coming out from Angel across the course of this game. I feel like we saw some really great stuff on his Ahri, really great punishing during the early laning phases, and then these charms to find picks. I wouldn't be surprised to see Angel as the MVP coming out of that one, because he had a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Way as well, lots of follow-up on these plays, and lots of moments where he was the one finding those plays.
Yeah, and I think the, Ahri as a champion is a very safe champion. It's very hard to really take them down early into a lot of these fights, particularly when you've got a lot of lower range champions. And you can see, actually, I'm just going to throw out my own little bit of build chilling here. Liandry's is better than ever for us, folks. Particularly when you're playing games like this, when there's slower team fights, you can actually do significant damage. Angel walks away with the highest damage in this game, and the reason he can do that is because he's safe, he's playing front to back. His build allowed him to really cut through a lot of these HP builders.
I wish we could check how much damage his Liandry specifically did this game. Just because, in LEC, we always get Shakaris tweeting it. We don't have that for LPL. I wish I could see those numbers right now. But I'm surprised how low Gala's damage was, but then I guess he's getting wailed on by Cube and Leyan all fight every fight.
Oh,
so
he was dying
difficult
first
to
every
just
fight.
be doing max damage.
It did feel like in the late game. I mean, as much as you can talk about Angel walking away with the most damage, the reason why Gala was not the most damage is because he was killed at the start of most of those fights, and that was the objective that Ahri were going for. Sadly, couldn't walk away with the win now. Now they're just playing for pride, playing for some results, and playing to be a bit of a blue shell against these teams which are already going to be looking towards playoffs.
And I tell you what, if the Ahri build doesn't come out with damage, maybe that's a win for RA. Maybe without the damage, they can't win those team fights, because it was Angel stepping up to carry once Gala had gone down. We're going to jump into a break, and then we'll see if RNG can